the Tesla drive motor is a motor. It's an assembly, right? It's a motor, inverter, and then it's got a
Yeah.
differential.
I'll show you. So yeah, I mean, it's a nice setup. I mean, whether or not it's a large Tesla drive unit or a small, I've got a small over there. I'll show you that, and I've got a large over there. So,
And then
so
you have to put axles on that, right? And you have to put like little stubbies, like in a little adapter or something. Which ones do you use?
we make up our own. I'll show you.
Ah, no way. Okay.
So that's a lot. For those that don't know,
Yeah.
that's the inverter that side, and that's the motor. A lot of people think there's two motors, but obviously it's not. So you got a motor that side, inverter that side, and in the middle you got your gear set.
Your gear set. It's a single gear, right? 9-to-1 ratio, 9 point
I think
something
it's
to the.
9.73 to 1 from memory. And then over here, we got the fabrication side of things. So this is where all the battery boxes get made up and subframes and things like that, and motor mounts. And just on the floor down here, we've got a small Tesla
That's
drive
the
unit.
small one. That's the one that I want to put in my bus.
That's a small front.
Small front,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So
Because
small
we still
front.
haven't gotten the Model 3 motors figured out, right? That hasn't happened.
Uh, it's pretty much there now, yeah. So,
Oh, okay.
you know, there you go. So
Headkin
yeah,
motors on there.
Chris down at Zero EV is pretty much nearly ready to roll that solution out with a
Oh,
Model 3 motor support. But, I don't want to steal his thunder on that, so he'll no doubt announce that when he's ready.
yeah, and that's
But yeah, if I
good
show you,
news because there's way more Model 3s than there are Model S's. So hopefully the price is gonna
yeah,
go down, right? It's the availability is much higher. It's good news all around, I think.
and it's a better motor. I mean, the
More
Model S
efficient.
and Model X motors, they're induction motors.
Yeah,
So they have to induce the magnetic field, so they get hot.
yeah.
Whereas the Model 3 is more like the Hyper 9 motor. It's a permanent mag motor that it's fairly more
Reluctance.
efficient. Exactly, there's less heat that's generated, so it's more efficient, so that you get a little bit more range out of it. It's an altogether better motor and a more modern motor. So the
Yeah,
sooner we get it, and it's nicely packaged. It's a little bit smaller, and it's great. Not
yeah,
quite 600 horsepower like the big Tesla drive units, but it's a reasonable, it's a sensible amount of power. So
yeah.
while I'm here, I'll show you some of the things we do. So this is the fabrication. So all the guys have gone now, so it's nice and quiet. But this is where we make things like battery boxes up. So this is a mock-up battery box. So once we do a design of a solution, if it's going to be a repeatable design, then we'll jig everything up. So this is essentially a jigged up Porsche 911 kit just on this bench here. So you've got essentially the Tesla drive units, motor mounts here, they're all bolt on. You've got that looks like the rear or the front. No, that's the rear battery box. And over there you got the front battery box. So that's a complete Porsche 911 setup. And then just on the floor behind me here, you've got various different, that's a couple of Land Rover Defender battery boxes. It's another Land Rover Defender front battery box. Here's all the
Wow.
sliders where the Tesla drive units go in. And then a load more battery boxes all ready to go for powder coating down there for various different cars we
Wow.
got in the shop.
Is that aluminum
So
or is that steel? What do you fabricate out of?
steel,
Steel. Okay.
yeah, steel. Because yeah, by the time you because you need the strength. I mean, if you're talking about the Land Rover Defender boxes, there's 10 batteries in the front, and that's like
Yeah.
250 kilos. You need
Yeah.
strength in the battery box to be able to hold safely and securely 250 kilos. And to get that strength out of aluminium, you need to go a little bit thicker with the aluminium. By the time you've done that, you may as well use steel. So
Yeah.
here's a Mercedes SL. So this
That's
one, we just got this running today. There's obviously a lot more snagging and everything that needs to be done on it, but essentially just having a look in here gives you an idea of what it's like. So you've got your main front battery box in there. You've got your service disconnect, which is obviously out at the moment. Your high voltage connection there. And there is, I think, 5 Tesla Model S modules in the front. And then underneath, you can't quite see down there, but underneath there is a Hyper 9 motor.
Ah,
And then
Hyper
if you
9.
come around the back, the interior is completely out at the moment. And then in the rear here, we've got, just take this out and put that on the floor. In here, you've got one battery box there, and then one
Okay.
battery box in the floor where the old petrol tank used to be.
Ah, okay.
What will happen is we've got essentially a firewall or a bit of board that goes down there with carpet on. So essentially you'll have a full size boot in there. But yeah, that's about, how many kilowatt hours? So you got 10. So it's about 53 kilowatt hours battery pack in that vehicle.
Yeah. And a cooled, low aerodynamic vehicle, it should be pretty good. That's what I have on mine right now. 52 kilowatt hours, like something like that.
52. So let's so in a bus, that should give you about 125, 130-mile range, depending on how you drive
Speed.
it.
Yeah. I've gotten
Yeah,
up to 160 hypermiling it, but I've also almost made it home. So Michael at EV West is 91 miles away from me.
right.
And when I drive over there and then I come back at night, the roads are open and I just step on it. And I barely made it home. So I've barely gotten 91 miles out of it too because I'm doing 70, 75.
Well, my bus, my crew cab has a P85 pack in it now. I put a 100 kilowatt hour pack in there. I put a
Whoa.
90, 85, but I've got an 85 in there at the moment. And I think the other thing you got to bear in mind is when people say it's a P85 pack, the usable kilowatt hours is not 85 kilowatt hours. So you got to take into account if you're putting an 85 kilowatt hour battery pack in, it's not 85 kilowatt hours. 85 kilowatt hours minus because it's secondhand, minus the amount
Degradation.
that degraded over time, minus the usability factor. So quite often an 85 kilowatt hour pack that's secondhand usually ends up being something like 65 to 70 kilowatt hours usable.
Yeah.
So in my bus, 65, 70 kilowatt hour usable is around about 200-mile range.
Yeah.
Just
There we go.
driving normally with A roads.